Yes.
Okay, hold on a second. Uh, there we go.
Hey, hello.
How are you?
Sorry for my voice because I've been butchered by air conditioning.
You have to sleep with a scarf around your neck. That's what I do.
Yeah, we've got like a big heat wave in Poland, like biggest temperature in history.
Well, I do like Poland. I have a great time when I come, and I'm fucking known to eat some Polish kielbasa, so it's all good, bro.
Okay, so let's start with the fact that your new album, Strike and Kill, is the first album with Gabe Mangold on guitar.
Yeah.
So how did he end up joining the band? Did you know each other beforehand, or were there any auditions?
Yeah, my drummer Davi knew him and had toured with him before, said he was a great guitar player, good guy. I had a couple conversations with him, and it was obvious that he knew who Devil Driver was. And when he was learning to play guitar, he used to play to Devil Driver as well. So that was a big deal for me. Is you got to, if you're going to come in the band, you got to understand who we are, because Devil Driver has a sound where we don't sound like anybody else. And so you have to recognize that if you're going to come in as a player. He's a great guy, great player. I'm very happy to have him in the band.
And Gabe is
And how and
also
how it happened was a member after 20 years uh uh was gone. So
yeah, and Gabe is also responsible for the album's final sound. Why did you choose him to handle the mixing and mastering process?
right. Okay, so production, they worked together as a team writing, and that was very good. But I think he understood Devil Driver. So when we started speaking about him producing, the first thing that I said is, "Are you fast?" Because I have ADD, ADHD, and I want everything first, second, third takes. I don't want to spend 4 hours on a 3 minute song, you know? And he was very good at production. And I think he understood the sound that we wanted. We wanted the Devil Driver sound. We didn't want to uh, go sound like someone else, you know? So we had to remain who we were while at the same time working to better ourselves, which this record certainly did that musically and I hope vocally.
And did you heard like any of his previous works as a producer?
Yes, I heard a few things that he had done, and it was obvious to me that he understood production. So that was the first thing. You can't have a guy say, I feel like I can produce. You have to have a guy say, I'm a producer. And he was a producer. Yeah.
And on Strike and Kill, also John Miller makes his triumphant return. When he rejoined the band in the 2022, the material for dealing with demons had already been composed. So what was his work on the new album like?
He worked a lot. Everybody wrote as a team. It was an equal thing. Um, and it was just great. Like Gabe actually wrote Dig Your Own Grave. So that was the song he kind of showed us to show that he could write for Devil Driver. And then after that, I said, good, get together with the team and everybody start writing. And that's where it started to come to fruition.
So when he joined the band, the material for dealing with demons part two was already recorded because the
Already
other.
done, done, recorded, and out. Yeah.
Okay, but because he joined in 2022 and the second part was released like the next year, or like few months later.
No, I think no. I mean, Gabe recently joined. Let's say that, right? But I think it's been uh 4 years. Been 4 years since we released. So yeah, 2022. Yeah. Yeah. And John joined about little later than that, 2023, late 2022. I don't really remember, but we had a long phone call with a lot of laughter and tears and all sorts of cool shit. And I said, come on back, man. I fucking miss you, like,
And Dealing with Demons was one of Devil Driver's most ambitious projects because there was so much material that you had to split the album for two parts. And what about Volume 2 of Outlaws Till the End? Is
I
that
would,
a song of the future, or have the plans changed? There will be no second part.
I would love to do that. I put about $60,000 of my own money into that record because I had to fly people in and around and being able to work with Leaving from Fear because I grew up on punk rock, John Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's son, and worked at the Cash Cabin, got to record in the same booth that Johnny Cash did, working with Randy from Lamb of God, Hank Williams, Hank Williams III, who is Hank Sr.'s grandson. That was wonderful for me, but that was a labor of love and very labor intensive. So if I find a partner that wants to put up the money for the time to get in and do that, I will do it. I would certainly love to do that. I feel like we broke new ground when we did that. And here in the United States, there's a lot of bands actually doing that kind of music now because we started a genre. So, and I like to do things that most metal musicians wouldn't do. I was told by the head of a record company, not my own, but another record company, that if I covered heavy metal country music, it would kill my career. And actually, that record charted very high and did very well. So I fucking proved him wrong. And I just like to do things different. I like to do things that other people haven't done or won't do. So I love that record, by the way. Thank you for bringing it up.
And when it comes to cover artwork with Strike and Kill, you took a completely different approach than you have in the past. Where did the idea come from to hire Niklas Mortensen and go with such a comic book style?
Well, I wanted something that was reminiscent of an old punk rock cover. So this looks very much like 1980s punk rock, this cover. If you're not familiar, go look up a bunch of bands and you'll see what I'm saying. Um, and then the hyena has scars and band-aids and chewed up ears, and the jacket, all the pins are on the jacket are most of them, I should say, are song titles from the record. I needed something to fit the inside. The vocally on Strike and Kill, I'm giving a very punk rock performance. So I wanted something to encapsulate that artwork wise, and I think that he did a great job with that.
And we've already seen and hear two singles. And for Dig Your Own Grave, you shot the music video at Geminimon Ranch. How did you find this place?
Um, for Dig Your Own Grave, you mean?
Yeah.
It's about 5 minutes from me. So I live up in the mountains near a lot of ranches, and I went online and found it and met the couple that owns it, and it had fantastic vibes, it had a good vibe.
And all the motorcycles, because you are into motorcycles, whether you're friends or you just hire them.
Yeah, I own 3 Harley Davidsons, and I belong to a group called the Widow Sons, which you have to be a master mason, Freemason to belong, and you have to do a lot of charity work and stuff. But I've been riding motorcycles since I was like 7 years old. And this video is to teach you that if you fuck around, you find out. So if you're bad to people, if you fuck around, you find out. And that's what this video is representative of. Yeah.
And watching this kind of traditional music videos is quite refreshing in an era when artificial intelligence is popping up everywhere. What do you think of this tool? Because lately, like 80% of music videos use it.
I don't know. I mean, it's another tool. I just don't use it. I know a lot of vocalists that use AI to write, you know? Like, how are you going to fucking put in a computer, let it write your vocals, and then sing them? It fucking makes no sense to me.
They
I
also
mean,
use it to production.
yeah, but I mean, as a tool, like to give you an example, anytime we put out the new record cover and you see it moving, right? The hyena moving or growling, obviously that's AI. So as a slight tool, like one little tool in your toolbox, cool. But to use it for music, to use it for writing, to use it for all the videos or all the artwork, no fucking way.
I also think it's like killing the creativity because let's look, for example, at horror movies. When Sam Raimi did like a Evil Dead trilogy, he didn't have like a big budget, so he have to use his brain.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the only time I'll use AI is when I need to rhyme a word maybe, right? Like, ah, fuck, what rhymes with, whatever. What rhymes with dog? Okay, fog, dog. Well, I need another one. Hey, what rhymes with dog? Oh, shit, there's 30 other words that rhyme with that. But otherwise, no, I don't use it as a tool, man, you know. Is that to say that I won't? Video wise, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some pretty good fucking AI videos, but it doesn't have heart to me, The computer doesn't have fucking heart. And we'll all see, man, because if we let this AI thing keep happening, maybe you've not seen the movie Terminator, but fuck, man, we're going to be in big trouble. As soon as they become sentient and start thinking for themselves, we're all fucked.
And with the song Dead in the Water, you said this is one of the most positive songs I've ever written lyrically. So could you shed a little more light on the lyrics of this song?
Um, I mean, one of the lines is turn pain into power, build from the ashes, hope is never wasted. Choose to rise, choose to rise, choose to rise. So when you're down, when you've given up, when you've been beaten down, fucking stand up. Stand up, dust yourself off, and fucking fight. That's what life is about. If I can give somebody some empowerment to move up in life, to fucking help themselves out in this thing that we call life, cool.
And what was the process for selecting the singles like? Because any track of the album could have served as a lead single, and you chose this two, and the third one will be Strike and Kill, if I
Yeah, I
remember
mean, I
correctly.
think you're right there. I mean, I think the whole record could have been singles. That's a good thing. I let the band choose. I'm very democratic. Okay, we wrote this many songs. What songs do you want to record for the record? Okay. What songs do you guys think should be the singles? Okay. How do you want the record to go? What's the first song? What's the last song? They did all that. I give all that to them. So I'm very democratic. It's not the Des show, you know? You know?
Even if you are a band leader, because sometimes band leader needs to take some responsibilities.
I think a good leader is democratic, and a good leader is part of a team, right? So, and I read a lot, and most of the people I read about were good team players. Genghis Khan did not take over most of the world by himself. He had a team. So there's the analogy.
And Devil Driver's new album featured 12 tracks that really strike you right in the balls. But there's a brief moment for catching your breath in the form of Summoning Shadows. So, what can you say about this one?
I was writing that at about 2 in the morning in my studio, and I felt like someone was in here with me, like had their hands on me. So I wrote down the line, this feels like I'm summoning shadows. Um, and that's how that song became. But what people need to know about me is I was raised on punk rock, goth, psychobilly, and rockabilly, not really metal. So I have a different take than most metal musicians that you'll talk to? So in this song, Summoning Shadows, the beginning is very like Bauhaus, Sisters of Mercy, very goth, but then gets fucking heavy, bludgeoningly heavy, like punk rock heavy, because punk rock for me is heavier than heavy metal. So that's where we went with it. And I think this gives you a little bit of a reprieve, but then gives you like a someplace to take a breath and then, oh shit, here it comes?
And my favorite track of the new album is Sanctified in Scars. So, what can you say about this song in particular?
We all have scars. We all have scars all over us, scars on our heart. Scars are what build us. Scars are what makes us. Learn to embrace your scars, embrace who you are. I give the analogy that my nose has been broke twice from fighting. I never fixed it. Embrace who the fuck you are. Embrace your scars. They made you who the fuck you are. Take those scars and build on those because scar tissue builds, right? Keep building on the scar tissue. That's what makes you who the fuck you are.
And what kinds of topics you also cover on Strike and Kill? Because a lot of the lyrics are very aggressive. So what pisses off Des Fafara the most in recent times?
Well, I think hope. I think take no shit, hope. There's always a better place, a better thing. Look to the future. I write about a lot of things, right? I write about the personal experience that one person has. You know, I write about the hurt that you experience in humanity with humanity. It's why I have such a small circle of friends, very few. I'm very private. I'm the most private person you're going to talk to, man, because humanity can be terrible. So I tend to write about it. Humanity can also be beautiful. When humanity does charity works, helps you, great. So I write about all of these things. I write about trying to keep your head up in a world that wants to bury you. Uh, I myself got buried from a lot of health problems and had to come back from a very fucking shitty mind space, a very bad headspace. I had to come back from that. I wrote about that. Sanctified in Scars is one of those songs that I wrote when I was coming back from being in a fucking terrible place, just out of the hospital, had to tear my life down for many years because my wife went through cancer twice. We all went through COVID. I almost died from COVID. Then I ended up in the hospital with vertigo. And I was like, what the fuck is going on with my life? And it's always been hard since I was a child. I've had a difficult life, but it even got harder. And I had to bring myself back to a very positive place. And the only way to do that is to write about it and to try to give people some kind of strength to lift themselves up. That's what I'm about. I don't know about the metal scene doing that. Sometimes the metal scene feels negative to me, right? But I'm not about that. I'm about giving some positivity, some hope, you know.
And
All hope is not gone,
and you admitted in one of the interviews that you spent a long time preparing to record your vocals for Strike and Kill.
Yeah.
So what was this preparation look like before you entered the studio?
I sing daily. So I'm in my studio now. I have a booth here right this way, and I sing daily. So I think it's just important to get in, sing daily, run on the treadmill 5, 6, 7 miles, get ready. My preparation was different in the way that I treated this record like it was the first record. I treated this record like if it was the last record. And I was also fasting the whole time I was recording. So I was not eating. And I was sleeping on the floor in my studio or on the floor in my living room because I refused to get comfortable. I have a $7,000 bed. You can't fucking sleep in clouds and then come down and expect to fucking be hungry and pissed and mean. You can't. So you have to put yourself on the floor, go without eating, fucking starve, and make yourself hungry. And I treated this record like it was my first record, like it was my last record. I've never done that. I will do that in the future because it helped a great deal.
And on this new album, we've got fast and strong songs. We have like technically impressive parts, almost like gent-like. We've got heavy breakdowns. How do you make such a material sound cohesive? How do you make it all sound like Devil Driver and not just like a collection of random ideas?
Right. Okay. So I think you write a bulk of material, then you see what fits together. Then you take that ball of material and you put it into form. And then obviously with me on it, it's going to sound like Devil Driver, you know? But it has to groove, man. Like in the beginning of our time, I'm not one for monikers, right? But in the beginning, the people who I hate the word fans, right? But fans started to call us groove metal. Now everybody's using that fucking term. Even when they don't groove, even when it's genty, we're groove metal. It's like, fuck no, you're not, right? Now they call us dark groove. because they understand I grew up on punk and goth, not metal, and they want to come up with something that no one else can use. So, okay, okay, what is dark groove? Okay, it has to groove and it has to have some darkness to it, musically and lyrically. So when I get the demos and I start writing and I ask the guys what songs all fit together, that's how it comes together and makes it Devil Driver. It's a team effort. Everybody wrote as a team. I ran all my lyrics by the guys. Everything I wrote, I would do voice notes for. Do you like this? Do you like, yeah, don't change it. Okay, cool, But very much a team effort with this record, where, as in the past, let's say 4 records, I don't think there was a real team effort in writing. There's maybe 1 or maybe 2 guys that would write, and they weren't writing for the logo. With this record, I told the guys, don't ask me what direction. Look at the logo. What does the logo tell you to write? Write for the fucking logo. We're a groove band, and I want it to fucking sound violent. We're not a deathcore band. We're not a death metal band. We're not a black metal band. We're not a genty band. Nobody sounds like Devil Driver. Nobody ever will sound like Devil Driver. I haven't even heard any copycats sound like Devil Driver that do it good. So write for the logo. And that's what they did. And that helped me saying, don't go, if you feel like you need jazz parts, go write that for another fucking band. That's not going to fit here. And I think they understood that. Gabe, Alex, everybody understood that, you know?
And you often mention that when working on an album, you always end up with more material than you need. Do you save some of it for later, like for example an awesome riff, or do you throw it all out because the new album should reflect the band's moment at that particular time?
You throw it out. Throw it out. Never go back to the old shit. We left a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor. This record could have easily been 20 songs and been perfect. The label only wanted 9 songs. And I said, fuck no. If you're going to spend money on this record or you're going to download this record, whatever, you need to get what I'm thinking here has to be 13 tracks, or you wouldn't have Summoning Shadows. You wouldn't have In the Moonlight. You wouldn't have had Ride or Die, which is very punk rock song. You needed all this to get the flavor of what Strike and Kill is. I'm not a big fan of records that are 25 fucking minutes, man, But this record is no skip. Like the minute you put it on, you want to listen to the whole thing. So that was the main thing for me. If we're going to put 13 tracks, do they all work together? Yes, they do. Are they cohesive? Yes. Do they make a cohesive unit? Yes. Okay, let's go. 13 tracks plus 13, kind of a lucky number for me.
And in addition to being a frontman of Devil Driver, you're also involved in management. For example, you're the manager for Cradle of Filth and Frail. How do you find the time to all of this? And are there ever situations where, for example, you're getting ready for a show and you have a phone call that there's a fire you need to put out?
Right. Okay. So I love the business and I love to help artists. We no longer handle Frail. Wish them all the best. But with Cradle, I can give you an example. They wrote one of the best records of their lifetime, this last record they put out. With our management and then moving them to another label, Napalm, a great label who I've worked with for a very long time, very capable, great people. They have the highest charting record of their career ever after a long fucking career. That gives me so much joy, I cannot even tell you. So I don't need to do music or management or the other. I run multiple businesses. I run clothing lines, multiple business. I don't need to do this monetarily. I could have retired long ago, but for what it's worth, my grandfather retired and died a month later. So that's not in my cards, I want to work and I enjoy management. I love getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I love going to bed at 11, 12 at night. I love working with artists. I love working with labels, videographers. Yes, I get a call in the middle of the night sometimes. There's a fire and you have to put it out, right? But there's not a promoter, an agent, a bus company, an artist, a crew member that I don't know after 30 years in the business. So what I bring to the business from my bands is something totally separate from what other managers can bring, you know? And I tend to, when we get commissioned, I tend to give some of the commissions back to artists as well to show them that we're not just here for commissions. We're here to help you. Let's build the show. Let's go longer. Let's get a better bus. Let's do what we need to do. That brings me great joy.
And in a way,
And I will say we're responsible for breaking some pretty big bands. Like there's one band right now that's out that's doing pretty decent. I mean, they were doing better when we managed them, but we helped break them, and that brought me big joy, happiness, because to see a band driving around in a van, no one knows who they are, then all of a sudden they're opening for big bands playing in front of 20,000 people a night. That gives me more joy than probably them because now I've helped an artist come out of the fucking mud and get their work done. It's management has to be a labor of love or don't fucking do it because it's long hours and it's a lot of fucking work to do it right and a lot of communication to do it right. And my wife is the CEO. She's an amazing fucking manager, better than me. She's amazing. And she does it because she loves music and loves bands. You know, we're a musical family. We woke up this morning and we've got like 350 vinyl at the house. So like all we did is put on records all morning and have coffee, you know? So it's something that we love and I'll do it for as long as it brings me joy. When it stops bringing me joy, I'm out.
and how do you view the changes that have taken place in the music business since the pandemic? Because you are on the both sides of the fence.
Yeah, it's fucking hard, man. Buses have tripled, flights have tripled, crew has doubled, hotels have tripled, gas has tripled. Most bands start tours now, they're in the red. Like they look at the budget to start the tour and they're in the red, which means they don't even see money making. They got to go out and make merch, meet and greets. It's very rough. It's very fucking rough. If you're in a band now and you're starting now, you have a long, very steep mountain to climb to get in a bus and just to bring home money to earn for the family. And that's why when we manage, sometimes we give commissions back. Like, why is the manager making this and the artist is making that? Here, take a little of this. Now we're even. We worked hard together. Cool. Let's move forward. I don't know a lot of managers that do that, actually, you know? And like I said, I've had, obviously, in management, I've had bands that I've worked with and bands that I've parted ways with. If I part ways with you, it's because you're a pain in the fucking ass. And you've got fucking a huge ego already. And it's like, I'm not going to work with that because I have no ego with who I am, 30 years in the business. I have no fucking ego. So be cool, have fun. Let's work as a team. Let's be a fucking family. Let's build your fucking career. Right now, I have a record label that we're getting ready to start, and I'm looking for punk rock bands, not metal, punk rock bands, because that's where I come from. And I'm going to be very happy when I find the first fucking punk rock band to put on my label and I make them fucking world known. That's going to bring me so much joy. Not the money, not the accolades, not the good job, Des. When I look at the band and they're fucking headlining festivals or they're on big festivals and I know that I did that, that will make me fucking happy. So the things that bring me joy don't come from money. The things that bring me joy are helping people in general. That's why I'm a Freemason. I do a lot of charity work, but helping bands out, giving bands a shot, taking bands on tour, you know. Here's an example. Coal Chamber was the first band to ever take Slipknot on a tour ever. I had gold records. No one knew who the fuck they were. Now look at the band. That should bring you joy. That brings me fucking so much joy to see that they got to be one of the biggest bands on the planet because I'm the first one to ever take them out. Most guys in my situation would be haters. Oh, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, no, man. Like, that's not what you're fucking here for, man. Like, bring people joy, help people out, bring bands up. That's why I'm in management, and even now with my next tour in the United States, I'm taking Upon a Burning Body, which a lot of people know, of Sulfur, which not a lot of people know, but they should, and Cultist Black, who are fucking great band. And I hope they become fucking huge. I hope both of those bands, all three of those bands become fucking bigger than me. That will bring me joy. So I work differently, man. I'm just I'm just different than most of the guys you're going to talk to. Plus, I'm the only heavy metal singer that you're going to talk to. And when you ask me, like, what's your heavy metal influences, Des, I'm going to say none. None of them affected me vocally. If any, maybe Motorhead, but not really. I only found metal, by the way, is because I found Motorhead. But I'm punk rock, goth, psychobilly, rockabilly first. But I just happen to do aggressive music and have long hair. So,
So this is all
which
that I can prepare.
which I say every day. I'm going to shave my head, and my wife is like, "You always say that." I say, "Well, I'm going to fucking shave it."
Okay, so this is all that I have prepared. So thank you very much for your time and have a great time during other interviews.
Yeah, I got 7 hours straight today, so I've got about eight or nine more. But I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the support. Hope to come to Poland soon. Okay, bro.
Bye.
Bye bye.